sustain the economy, but yet keep the numbers of infection down. Call me biased, call me whatever you want, but look at the statistics. Look at Japan, look at Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea. What do they all have in common? Hey, it's Jamie. Quick video here. I want to talk about today our current situation in the lockdown and what I think could be a viable solution for everyone. As you may have heard, our government might be announcing lockdown for another month or so in the future in the UK. Rant point 1 is that the government announced lockdown in a lot of countries because they're now trying to clean up the mess that they made back in January till March. But now the opposition politicians are saying that we need to lift the lockdown and we need to resume the economy. Sounds fitting, right? When everyone's suffering financially. But there's no point in continuing the blame game and just, mouthing off at things but not actually trying to come up with a solution. So here's my solution, which leads to my second point, and that is because we didn't take extra preventive measures like people did in Asia. Call me biased, call me whatever you want, but look at the statistics. Look at Japan, look at Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea. What do they all have in common? People wear flu masks. Everyone, or at least 90% of people wear them. What this does, and hear me out for a second, is not just to protect yourself, but it's to protect other people. That is the main reason why surgical masks are used. But now you'll be thinking, as the common Western culture will teach you, is that, only people who are ill will wear a face mask. So I'm not ill, why am I wearing a face mask? And my point is, when everyone wears a face mask, because, I don't know, I could be a carrier, you could be a carrier, anyone can be. So when you don't know who's the carrier and everyone wears a face mask, it prevents any potential carriers from spreading the virus. But what did the government do? They told us that face masks were not effective. Don't wear face masks. Unfortunately, that was most likely due to a concern that people would hoard them and probably actually attack each other over them, since they're probably an even stronger necessity than like food in the eyes of some people. If they have to go to work but they don't have any protection, then people are going to fight over those resources. And in essence, I now have to confess that I am kind of ashamed that my race of people actually actively went out everywhere during December or January, and the mainland Chinese people basically just went and raided every place that sold face masks and hoarded them, and then either used them for business benefits by selling them online, or hoarding them and sending it back to relatives back in mainland China. Now, I'm not mainland Chinese, but I am of the same skin color. And for that, just that alone, I feel I almost have to make an apology to everyone around the world that, Chinese people have caused other people great suffering. So, sorry for that. But the final part of my rant is the solution, which is, as many of you may have heard, that flu masks are now becoming more available in the UK, and you can probably walk past a pharmacy and you'll be able to find one for £2 or 5 masks for £10, as I've heard from some of my housemates. And since the availability is coming back to our country, I feel that if it's available to you, get some. Get some for you, get some for your family, and same rules as everything else. Don't hoard them, leave some for other people, but when you essentially have to go out, then, or if you have to go to work, then it would be a good choice to wear them. Another suggestion would also be to wear glasses or a visor on top of your mask. And why I suggest this is, look at the example of medical workers right now. All around the world, you'll see doctors and nurses, they have the flu mask, and then they might have glasses, and they also have this plastic film in front of them, sometimes covering this part, like the gap between their face and the glasses as well. And what this does is, aside from wearing the flu mask, preventing potential carriers who may be working as health workers from spreading it to other people, wearing the visor and the glasses also protects the virus from getting into their eyes. So it stops them, the health worker, from contracting the virus themselves, hence lessening the spread. So what we need to do is to try and comply as much as we can with the latest medical information or the expertise that the professionals are using. And this, if everyone does this, it will help reduce the spread. I can guarantee you. And the biggest shame about our culture is that we tend to mock other people for not acting, in compliance with the social norms. And especially when you see other people wearing masks, more things that don't look normal, or seeing Asians wearing masks, we suddenly become, scared, and we have some sort of phobia against those people. I mean, I've gone onto a bus, and although my mask is slightly more extravagant, I have a visor on top of my glasses as well as the mask. So I see people going like this, as if I have rabies or something. But the fact that they're not wearing a mask themselves, which means that actually they're vulnerable, and I'm having to wear a mask so I can protect them. It doesn't really make sense, you know what I mean? So if you want to protect yourself and you want to protect your families, be a hero, wear a mask. And in terms of eye protection, I mean, I don't wear glasses, but I have a pair of glasses that don't have an optical degree on them, so basically it's just a piece of plastic in front of my eyes, and that helps. I also bought £1.99 pair of goggles, and that will help as well, as you will see in my mask making tutorial. Last but not least, the most important part of the eye protection is actually some of the most simple stuff ever. See-through plastic folders. They come in 2 flaps, and then you just put your documents in them. Just cut them in half and then clip them around your glasses. And this basically replicates, you look at the medical workers, they all have this visor in front of them. It's not weird, it's just that they are at the forefront of this knowledge and they're utilizing it, whereas we're just, alienizing people who might think of using it, which is the worst idea ever, because it's pioneering and it's actually recommended in Hong Kong and in China. They actually published an official video for why you should make that mask and how to make that mask, which I've translated and then published my own version, which I think I filmed but I haven't published yet, but it will be in the next couple of days, because I'm struggling with storage space on my phone and editing and just problems with technology, because I don't have proper filming gear. So, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. Please comment down below, let us know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications, all of them. Click on that bell, and then there'll be all notifications, personalized, and none. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss an update from me. I cover all sorts of health and hygiene content coming from pioneering countries, medical advice coming from Hong Kong health officials. We're very focused on preventing this virus from spreading in our home city, and as you see, right now, the numbers for infection are still below 1,000 in Hong Kong, and we've never been in actual lockdown, not enforced lockdown. And I think people have just been proactively self-isolating when they don't need to go out, and people who go to work their companies will try their best to provide a constant supply of masks and people wash their hands and sanitize like often. Everyone walks around with sanitizer, and yeah, basically that's the way that we've been doing it in Asia, and like it's really helped to sustain the economy, but yet keep the numbers of infection down. Because if you think about it, Hong Kong is actually connected by land to China, and we never closed all the borders to China. And now with China having opened their borders again after the first lockdown, we have had an increase of infection, but still, because of our good practices, those numbers have been kept very low, and it's just, you know, political reasons why we can't actually close off our borders, and we do our best. But do take care of yourselves, and until the next one, banter out. And yet when I browse on websites like Twitter, I hear other influencers, mainly political influencers, trying to cause a backlash and saying that we need to end this lockdown, and that it's basically a load of rubbish and it's invading our freedoms, it's not helping the problem, so on and so forth. But the fact that before the lockdown, back in January, February, I didn't hear them voicing out the major need for concern, speaking up about how serious this problem was back when everyone didn't take it seriously. And hence, this particular influencer managed to win and lose my trust all in one afternoon. Well done. What politicians also fail to understand a lot of the time is the weight behind their sway, or the power of their words. And I understand, that's how a lot of politicians make a living. They just oppose whatever is actually being done by the government, and they get paid to do it. But consider this, when you're doing it without an active moral conscience, the consequences can be absolutely dire.